What's up, everybody? We decided we'd make a video a little bit different to the normal type of content that we put out, and this video is going to be called Assumptions About Craig. So Connor has gone on to the good folks of Twitter and our subscribers on YouTube as well and asked them to send in their assumptions about me. I don't know what any of these are yet. Connor is waiting on the line. He's going to read them out to me one by one. And look, let's just see where this video takes us. So, Mr. Crosby, without further ado, my friend, are we ready to go?
Right, we'll start with the most normal question. It's not even an assumption, it's a question. Can I lick your bald head? Someone on Twitter said.
Everything has a price. Do you know what I mean? Everything has a price. So never say never. Put it that way. I've had stranger questions asked to me. So, you know, in a pandemic world, no. When we get back to normality, you can do whatever you like, mate.
He drinks a lot of beer.
I drink absolutely no beer. I don't have any issues around having a drink. I'm just someone that gets really bad hangovers, and I'm a bit of a bitch when it comes to this. So if I have 3 or 4 bottles of beer, I'll be in bed for 2 days. And no, I don't drink any beer.
He isn't actually Irish. He just uses it for comedic effect. And 2 people said this, interestingly.
This has to be... I don't know where to go with this. Of course I'm Irish. Like, I was born and bred in Dublin. I went to school in Stillorgan. I played football in Ireland. I've lived here my entire life. And anybody that knows anything about me knows that accents and stuff like that are my absolute weakness. So I am 100% from Ireland. And I'd love to know what benefit there is of me pretending to be Irish when I'm not, because if anything, my career would have been a lot easier, let's say, if I was sitting here pretending to be Irish and I was actually from Liverpool or I was actually English. So unfortunately, that is I am absolutely 100% born and bred Irish.
I mean, you're doing well to stay in character if you are putting this accent on, to be fair. Like, I don't know how people think you're sitting there for like 3 hours at a time putting it on.
Be a very odd accent to come up with as well, wouldn't it? Because, like, if you think of a stereotypical Dublin accent, it isn't me. If you think of a country Irish accent, it isn't me. No, I'm definitely Irish and very proud to be Irish.
He can grow a beautiful, luscious head of hair, but he shaves it so people don't get jealous.
You see, the true answer to this is, at this point in my life, I really don't know how luscious that head of hair would be. Am I bald? No. Do I have a few bald spots like most men heading for their 40s? Probably. I did a few months back, well, no, actually it's a couple of years back, flirt with growing it a little bit. I think I got about a week into it and just felt like a scruffy git. So the honest answer is I don't know at this moment in time. And I don't think we're going to get to find out either.
He's a wannabe Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah, this is one that there's an honest answer to. Do I want to be Mark? No. Do I want to have the career he has? Absolutely, I do. Do I take aspects of how he's forged his way through? Yes, of course. I'd be silly not to, because he almost pioneered the green screen for football fan content. So, as I've always said, we're extremely different personality types. I couldn't be as naturally funny as he is. In the unique way that Mark is funny. I'm more just an emotional dude that rants a lot and has my own opinions. But I definitely don't want to be Mark Goldbridge. But would I like to have a successful career as him? Of course. But I don't know if I have his work ethic. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know how many hours in a day Mark actually has or how he gets the work done. But my goodness, he works his ass off. I'm far too lazy.
I can vouch for that. Yeah, far too lazy.
Definitely, 100%.
He's very short.
5'10", so I don't know whether that means I'm small or tall, but I'm 5'10". I think that's about average, probably for a man. Certainly smaller than Connor. I can promise you that. Connor's a couple of inches taller than me, but then again, I did marry a 5'2" woman, so I do feel like a giant walking around my house.
He has a massive shit before filming.
I do not. This is going to get a bit crass here for a second, but it's like a feast or a famine in that sense. I go through days where, you know, I could have a very busy day in that particular sense, or days where, you know, nothing happens whatsoever. But I definitely go to the loo, but it's usually for a pee before I start to stream, because I refuse to break a stream to go to the toilet.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by that fact. In like 3 years of streaming, pretty much every day, watch-alongs of 2 or 3 hours possibly, not once has he left to use the toilet. That baffles me.
I'm really good. I'm similar on a plane as well. It'll, even on a flight, say, to Florida, it'll take an awful lot for me to get up to go to the toilet. I'm somebody that is a bit of a camel in that sense. I can hold it in for quite a long time. But Yeah, there's a couple of reasons why I don't get up during videos. Some of them I just don't want the camera refocus, and sometimes, you're wearing pajama bottoms or whatever on your bottom half, but it's mainly because I just don't like to break the stream.
He jinxes everything.
Yeah, definitely, of course, because a grown-ass adult assuming that some fella sitting over in Ireland can affect the game of football, I wish, mate. I wish I had those type of powers. And again, if I do jinx everything, then it has to work the other way as well, doesn't it? So I'll accept all the congratulatory letters and cards and stuff for us winning the league and the Champions League, because I predicted all that stuff as well. So no, this is just it's just a stick that people use to try and beat me with. But karma has bit me in the backside. I'll be the first one to admit that.
He's overly dramatic for views, says stuff like sell Salah for interactions. And there's a second one, how can you dislike Salah so much? He's the club's greatest asset going forward. So this is a misconception, really, isn't it?
It's an absolute misconception. So I suppose let's start with the over-the-top part for views. No, that's me. That's who I am. Connor can vouch for this. He's been sitting here with me watching television, not even football, just watching television, and I'll start arguing with the television over something that has happened. That's just me. That's just the way I am at home. So honestly, no, I don't ham anything up. If anything, I'm probably tone it down language-wise and the amount of stuff that I'd normally throw at the walls and stuff. I mean, I've got a new computer recently, and that's nearly gone at the wall. I'm just an emotional person. Now, the Salah stuff, I've never once said, let's just go sell Mohamed Salah. All this stuff, like everything else, needs context. I've always thought that Mohamed Salah is the most likely one to leave because he seems like somebody who wants another chapter in his career. I want us to add to the squad that we have here. In fact, watch my recent videos. I've said I want to see him moved central next season. So I don't know where the conception is that I hate Mohamed Salah. How anybody, no matter what club they support, could hate that man. It's impossible. He's a lovely human being. He's a very talented footballer. He's a great ambassador for our sport, for his country, for his religion, for his continent. So no, I do not hate Mohamed Salah.
You're absolutely bonkers. Like, people don't see that all the time, but you really are.
I am. I'll be the first one to admit it, mate. I could argue with myself. I could have a full-blown argument with myself and do it easily. It's just the type of person that I am.
He has an ego complex.
I am very insecure. I am the exact opposite. I'm somebody that may it sometimes need to do the whole act as if thing. So act as if you've got the biggest, what in the room. Act as if you've got the biggest pair of balls. Sometimes you need that in life because of your own insecurities. And I definitely do not have an ego in any way, shape, or form. I know what I'm good at and I know my weaknesses. I think I'm very self-aware. That's one thing I will say, but I definitely don't have an ego because if I did have an ego, I probably wouldn't listen to half the abuse or half the trolling that comes my way.
This is a strange one. He's a Tory.
Okay, firstly, I'm not English and there is no Tory party in Ireland. Secondly, I wouldn't be a Tory if I even was politically minded, which I'm not. I don't get involved in any politics whatsoever. I'm not a politically minded person. But yeah, that Tory thing was thrown at me before as well by one particular cretin who it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I be a Tory when I don't live in England, nor do I ever talk politics or have ever hinted towards anything? I don't even know. No, man. I'm just not politically minded. I am, again, just somebody that wants to live and let live, and I judge everything on an individual basis. I don't think you can judge anything. I don't like the actual idea of politics that's divisive, that you've one side or another. I think everything has a grey area. So no, I'm not a Tory. No, I'm not politically minded. I just want people to live and let live, and I would judge the individual rather than the party if I was politically minded.
He doesn't like his tattoos. He only has them to look hard.
No, I absolutely love them. And before I had shit ones, trust me, a lot of these are cover-ups. And why would I need to look hard? Do I look hard where? In my own house? Or because I don't go outside much, nor do I even hold my arms up on camera much. So you've seen this video now. Have you seen my arm once so far in this video since we start recording? No, I love tattoos, but the God's honest truth is my dad comes from a big family and he was the only male in his family that didn't have a tattoo because he didn't like them. So when my father passed away at the age of 21, I start getting some tattoos. And like everybody who starts getting them or a bit older, tattoos were a bit shitter back then. The quality of needles and stuff weren't as good. And I've gotten cover-ups, a lot of cover-ups, but I'm not finished with my tattoos yet either. I've got more to get done. But no, I love them. I'm somebody that genuinely loves the whole artistry. And I've got a really good relationship with my tattoo artist. I don't ever know what he's going to do. I just trust the lad, and he knows the type of style that I like, and he just goes away with it.
You think Henderson is better than Paul Scholes?
Again, context required in this. Did I say it? Yes. Do I believe it? No, probably not. But again, context. So it stems from a video that I made when I went over to shoot for a specific company, let's say. I went over and I was a bit wet behind the ears. I was very new to the industry. And the original concept was that Scholes doesn't belong in the Gerrard-Lampard debate. That was my original concept that I pitched for this particular segment. That was supposed to be a bit, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? It was supposed to invoke a reaction from people. But like anybody else that was new in the industry and that was insecure and that wasn't used to the bright light shining on me in a film set, I allowed myself to be talked into something that I probably shouldn't have said. So I hold my hands up to that one. I did say it. Do I think that Scholes is a bad footballer? Absolutely not. But I still stand over what I said. I don't think he's at the level of Gerrard or Lampard. I don't think he belongs in that conversation. But he's an excellent footballer. And look, yeah, that's one I got to just take on the chin. And that'll come back to haunt me for years and years and years. But I feel like I've explained it as many times as I can. I've also called him the Ginger Mark Noble. Want to get that out there as well before somebody replies with it.
I mean, that was funny. Like, fair enough. Like, it's not true, but it's still funny to say, isn't it?
That was just banter. That's all that part was.
To me, him giving his haters attention is what is fueling it. I feel he doesn't know how to deal with being a popular figure. There's both love and hate, and he should learn to deal with both.
I think that's fair. Yeah, look, I do take some stuff to heart. I am insecure, as I've said, and some stuff does get to me. But there's another side to it as well. I am somebody that is quick-witted and does like to come back with a quick response. So sometimes I should ignore stuff. I absolutely understand and agree with that. It's a fair point. But I also enjoy it because sometimes I get my frustrations out on people that come in with a stupid comment or something like that. And I'll never instigate this with anybody, but I'm also not just going to sit here and take it because the argument is, ignore them. But why should I have to? Why should anybody have to put up with that crap from nobodies? So yeah, they're absolutely right. I should ignore them. But at the same time, I am human. I am insecure. But I also do enjoy it sometimes if something pops into my head that I think's funny.
What does Craig assume to be a good amount to gain from begging off GoFundMe accounts?
Repeat that again?
What does Craig assume to be a good amount of money to gain from begging off GoFundMe accounts?
I'm absolutely baffled by the question because I don't. Have we had a GoFundMe before at one point? If we did,
I think we did at the very start. To be fair, I think people often refer to like everything as a GoFundMe. So let's say like the channel memberships. People often seem to think that they have to pay to watch. It's an optional thing.
I don't judge anybody else for what they do, paywall or no paywall. We've set out with a specific way we wanted to make content. And like at the start, like anybody else, you need a few quid to keep things ticking over. And I wouldn't judge anybody else for it. Like, it's part of the industry. Patreon, GoFundMe, all that type of stuff is something that I think people who outside the YouTube ecosystem probably, and I would have included myself in this before I got involved in it, wouldn't understand. But at the same time, everything that most of us make is free. Everything we make is 100% free. There's no barrier between anyone and any of our content whatsoever. Again, we haven't used it to fund anything. We may have tried it before in the past at the start, as Connor suggested, and it certainly didn't work out if we did. But I don't know. Well, I suppose it depends what you're funding for. Like, let's say we had offers for, I needed a new iMac. We had offers for people to say, set up a GoFundMe and we'll help you buy that. And I turned it down because I felt it was my responsibility to sort out. But it's different strokes for different folks. If you like what somebody does and you want to help them get another piece of equipment or whatever it be, then have at it. If you don't, I absolutely understand that as well. But I just don't understand the judgment from people. Like, it's, you either like it or you don't. You either want to contribute to something or you don't. I don't understand what all the hassle is about.
How many turnips did he eat to turn himself into one?
I don't eat any vegetables. Like, do I look like a man that lives a healthy diet of eating vegetables and greens? No, I don't eat a single vegetable. Baked beans is about as far as I go with vegetables and stuff like that. I have a very, very weird diet of I'm such a fussy eater, man. And again, Connor can back me up on this one. I am a nightmare to go anywhere with. I don't eat so much stuff. I eat a lot of plain stuff. But do I look like a turnip? I don't know. It's, of all the things I've been called, I can see a lot of comparisons, but I'm not quite sure about the turnip one.
He secretly supports Man United.
Yeah, that's why I scarred my body with a Liverpool tattoo, because I'm a secret closet Manchester United fan. No, I am through and through a Liverpool fan. Have been, as I said, since that 2-0 Arsenal loss that won them the first division title. You don't spend your entire life and, you know, dictating your moods of football results being a closet fan of another club. It's something that, again, people have thrown at other content creators, other YouTubers, to try and belittle them and try and undermine what they've maybe achieved, or tell me that you'd scar your body with a tattoo of a club that you don't support. Of course I'm a Liverpool fan, mate. I'm a Liverpool fan through and through. I think sometimes people just differentiate or struggle to figure out how I can sit there and call a United game and not be biased. It's called trying to be professional. It's called trying to improve what I do. And yeah, look, I'm a Liverpool fan through and through and through.
You use fake tears on camera to sway emotions.
Nah, didn't even cry at my own father's funeral. I'm not somebody that generally, sheds a tear, but I've been moved by a lot of support that I've had, and I've always been honest to camera. So if I say something, if something happens, it's always in the heat of the moment. I don't go into a video, except that goodbye video, which when I had made was in a bad place, and I wanted to make it to genuinely say goodbye. But no, I'll never apologize for shedding a tear on a video, nor is any of it ever manufactured, because if I wanted to play the pity card, trust me, with the life I've had, I could play it a lot better than that, mate. So no, I don't engineer any of it, nor do I ever want to see my wife or kids see or hear me crying. But it's who I am, and they're the moments, and I won't ever apologise for being honest.
You like when Liverpool lose because you get more subs and views on your channel?
Nah, not a chance. I mean, when Liverpool lose, my whole weekend's affected. My mood goes down, I get angry, and I can't sleep. So, you know, there is some truth to the side that maybe channels get more visitors when their team loses, but I promise you, I would swap every single extra view for points for Liverpool Football Club, because you get into this because you support the club. You get into this because of your love of the club, and that comes from the good moments. So I will take that Barcelona moment any day over a negative result that would gain us 100,000 subscribers overnight. No, not one, not a chance. I want Liverpool to do well, and that's always my first thought. And I think any fan will think the same way. There is probably some truth to it, the fact that channels do grow when the team's doing bad, because, you know, within your own fan base, you've probably got a limited audience, but when opposition fans come in and start trolling you and stuff, maybe extends your reach a little bit. But I'd swap every single extra view for points for Liverpool, 100%.
Yeah, I suppose from a content point of view, it's almost like if you have the option of watching a video of some fella finding €20 on the ground or some fella falling down the stairs, which one's going to be more entertaining?
Oh, you're watching the lad falling down the stairs every day of the week. That's why, exactly. Like, the biggest video on our channel, and as I actually checked earlier on, it's just gone past 360,000 views, is the 7-2 clip. That was the reason we kept that up there, is because that was karma. I earned every bit of abuse that came my way on that day, and that still makes me smile that people are commenting on that 4.5, 5 months later. And yeah, look, I want Liverpool to do well. I would happily sit on half the subs we have if you told me we would have gone back to back this season. No problem whatsoever.
I've seen a belter of a comment on this, actually. Someone before said, he just fakes his reactions. And someone just replied, bro, he literally turns red when someone scores.
It's true. How could you fake them? Like, you see this a lot of people, and are there people that ham it up to camera? I don't know, because I don't know everybody within the industry. But what I can tell you is, and I've always said it, if you're a fan and you're not sitting at home the same way, which you probably are to some extent, or it doesn't alter your mood, or it doesn't make you as angry, then, you know, I actually feel some sympathy for those people, because we live and breathe. I live and breathe this game. Most of us live and breathe it. I think I've been inside enough stadiums to know as well that that's kind of the reaction that people use on the cop and use in any stadium in the world. If something goes wrong, you're screaming about it. If something goes right, you're celebrating about it. And I don't ham it up for camera. If I did, I'd have a few one-line quips ready to go. But no, everything I do is in the heat of the moment. And that's why I'm always worried that I'm going to go that one step too far. And again, for the 7-2 clip, I've said this before, Connor, I'll say it again. The reason I kept saying 7 was because I was just trying to make sure I didn't say anything that I couldn't get out of. I was trying to buy myself time to think, and I just kept just saying the number 7. And I didn't even know I was doing it, but it was still buying me time mentally to not say that one thing that, because if I was watching it at home, I'd actually probably use a bit more choice language than I use on the streams. I actually probably tone it down, if anything. We all have ways we talk in public. It's why we love comedians so much, by the way. It's why I'm a massive fan of comedy. It's why we love the Dave Chappelles, the Jim Jeffries of this world, is because they speak with a lot of the time what is our inner monologues that we know isn't socially right to say or acceptable to say, but we do all have dark thoughts. And I'm somebody that kind of will tell you, my sense of humor is steeped very much on the dark side.
I was expecting more abuse, to be honest, but most questions were nice, to be fair. No, we're
not finished with this yet. Give me a couple of assumptions from you, mate. A couple of assumptions you had towards me, perhaps, before we got to know each other. Let's flip this a little bit.
You don't really leave the house much, even regardless of the pandemic. So before I met you for the first time, I presumed you'd be a bit socially awkward. But then, the very first time I met you in shops and everything, then you were just so helpful to everyone. I think actually, when we flew over to London one time, you were just there helping someone with their bag and stuff out of nowhere. It's just not something I would have expected from you. Just very, very social for someone who doesn't leave the house.
Yeah, it's a fair point as well. My anxieties aren't social awkwardness towards other people. The more kind of just insecurities and fear. And fear has been a big part of my life. So, yeah, I'm not socially awkward. I can definitely interact with people. And I can see why you would have had that perception of me. But now I'm somebody described me before as a man of the people who doesn't like people. And I think, that kind of does sum me up. I'm somebody that's guarded a lot until you get into the inner circle, and then I'll be open. But YouTube's been great for me. As I said along, that's helped me change my life. And I don't mean from a financial perspective. I mean just embracing that I'm not an absolute cunt.
Yeah, because it is interesting, because I can see from with people seeing small clips of you on Twitter and stuff, I can see why you have this perception of being this ranty, bald Irishman just shouting at a TV. But people don't see the other 99% of the content and the other stuff that goes on behind the camera. You're just a normal fella.
I understand that. You see, I've made my own assumptions of people before and have been proved wrong about them. So it's completely natural, and I understand why anybody would see all these clips or assume somebody's toxic. But what I'd always said is, get to know me, speak to anyone that's worked with me in this industry, speak to anyone that I've done podcasts with or anything like that, and you will get the honest me. I'm a good fella. I'm not, a saint by any stretch of the imagination. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'll continue to make them, but I'm me, and all I can be is me. I've said that from day one, and I've often said I don't one of the first questions you asked me was about the ego. You look through the channel, I always say I don't know why anyone watches. I've said that from day one. I don't know why anybody watches anything I'm involved in, but I really appreciate it. And without the support of the people that we've had, I wouldn't be here. Certainly not in front of a camera, and I certainly don't think I'd be in as good a mental state as I have been without the support of people.
Last assumption then. I assume that you roll out of bed straight into that big chair of yours with your pajamas still on to do streams.
You assume correctly, young man. Absolutely. I keep the weirdest hours, so I could go to sleep at 8 a.m. some mornings, and with a game, to me, a 3 o'clock kickoff's a nightmare at times. Even that's a headache for me. And I don't think, hand on heart, and I had this conversation with my wife last night, I don't know if I've put on even a pair of tracksuit bottoms since this pandemic has started, other than a couple of times I've gone outside. I live in pajama bottoms and hoodies these days. I really enjoyed this one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to everyone that sent in an assumption or a question, and I hope we can do this one again down the line. Thanks to Connor. And look, as always, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, show some love to fellow YouTubers out there, and let's just try and tone down the toxicity between fan bases, because we are able to banter each other. We are able to have a little bit of fun, take this stuff on the chin and move on. So I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Thanks to Connor, because it was his idea that we absolutely ripped off. Again, there's that honesty I spoke about, folks. And again, I am definitely Irish. That one got me, honestly, not being Irish.